hopefully Diane will be able to be here in a few minutes. I'd like to call the October 15th meeting of the Cass County Public Library Board of Trustees to order. And we'll take roll call, Lori.
Becky Klein?
Yes.
Sherry Peters?
Here.
Dennis Minnick?
Here.
Diana Larson?
Here.
And I'm not here.
Okay. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I would like to make an addition to the agenda. It is under new business. We need to add MOSIP investments renewal. So if you could please add that, that's a yearly activity that we do. Okay, so I'm going to make a motion that we approve the printed agenda as amended.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, opposed? All right. All right, consent agenda, you have your minutes and all of your payments. Were there any questions? I didn't see anything for me to ask. Anything in particular that we should know about, like a yearly? Did we pay Hoopla this time?
We pay them every month.
Yeah, there it is. Yes, that's what it was. Yes. Any other questions? Any corrections to the minutes or anything? Then I will entertain a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. I can never remember. Do I have to roll call this one?
We usually don't.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, any public comments? All right. All right. In our unfinished business, we're going to start with our building project. So Navigate and Clark Anderson are here.
Yes, good afternoon. Appreciate you letting me present this and give you an update since we did the last update in June. That was around our schematic design. I'm with Navigate, I'm Joe Dooley, and this is Allison Wonder with Clark and Anderson, so the design team. Basically want to give you an update on basically the project progress, where we are today. We're going to show you the final site development plan that's into the city as we speak. Design development, that's kind of the process we're in at this point. And we'll kind of explain a little further how we got to this point. Total program budget and next steps in the process. Basically progress since June. So we had all those items that we checked off prior to June. We've done a geotechnical analysis of the site, traffic study. We had to do a water flow on the fire hydrant to make sure that we have enough pressure to be able to service that building. Design needed that to do their design of the water system itself. We closed on the property itself. All that is complete at this point. Bond closing also happened, so that's the next step on the finance side of it. Then design development, that's what Clark and Anderson has been having meetings over the last probably 3 months roughly. Every so often sitting down with the group as library, us, design team, going through and actually getting the design development done. And once again, we'll explain a little further on that. Estimating and budget alignment, after we had the design development completed, we actually both did estimates in order to get to the budget number we're at today. Also, we put up a job sign coming soon that it's already out there. I know we just signed a permit to get that paid for, so that's out there, letting people know that it's coming in 2027. Activities that we're in process right now, we're in basically final site development with the city, so they're doing that review currently right now. We're starting on construction documents, so that's the one of the next steps that we're working on in the design process. Clark and Anderson's working on that. Tree removal planning, what we're going to do there is we're going to have to remove the trees, or at least cut them down. There's different processes we're looking at doing. It can only be done through November through March due to basic bat migration and things like that. So it's a timing factor that you can only do that at a certain time frame. So it's kind of close to where we would award a contractor the GC project, so we'll probably end up having to do some type of tree removal prior to that. And then we'll go through the bid document prep. What you're looking at here is going to be the final site development plan. This is the layout of the building, parking lot. You'll see detention basin on the north end. Basically, you'll have your drive on the north end of the library itself, entrance on the south. So this is your complete site layout, and this is what the city is reviewing at this time. Let me know if we need to come back to that, and we can always look at it again.
Yeah, if there's anything you wanna
Any questions
clarify
or
or
anything?
questions, I can answer any questions.
Are we taking out all the trees in the north end or just?
Almost all the trees on the site are.
So are we leaving those trees on the west side?
So those are all gonna be new trees.
New trees, okay.
The city requires a kind of a barrier of trees along the property
Okay,
line.
right.
Adjacent to that type of property, so, those will all be new trees there, and then they also require some new trees on the south side along
Okay.
the drive as well.
Did you happen to check out just how much it would cost to have a flagpole?
We did look at a flagpole
We have-
option. I think in the end, we decided that it wasn't going to be part of the project, so.
We'll add it. Okay.
Any other questions on the site development part? Any other questions on the site development at this point? Kind of move on and kind of describe how we got here. So the last meeting in June is where we were at schematic design. That's what your initial concept is. That's where we're kind of developing what the building was gonna look like. That's where Clark and Anderson kind of did all their studies to get basically the basic building set up. And then from that point in June, this is where all the meetings happened, where we went through design development. That's where we're refining the building itself, designing every room inside, how it's gonna function, cabinets. This is all done through many, many meetings that we've had to get to a final design per se, to say this is what we're moving forward with. Like I said, after that was done, we both did estimates as far as Clark and Anderson did an estimate, and also Navigate did an estimate, and we compared those numbers to make sure we're in agreement on what we're going forward with the budget, to make sure we covered everything as far as scopes of work. As far as estimate, when we do the review, when we go through the estimate, we compare every scope of work. So Clark and Anderson will look at theirs, we look at ours, and we're gonna compare. We're gonna make sure we're understanding that all the work's covered, we're good with the numbers to make sure we're in budget, and everything was designed that way. We were trying to stick to a budget, and it was all designed and worked together to get to that point. In your total program budget, so this is gonna be your construction cost, but this is all the other costs that go with it. Basically, you're gonna have your construction estimate, your contingencies in there, escalation, pricing, permit fees, utility fees, furniture, the land purchase is part of this total program budget, financing costs as far as the bond issuance fees, miscellaneous moving costs, bid advertisement. Basically, anything that's going to be spent on this project will have to be in this total program budget. And we're currently at $8,341,000 is where we're at in agreements today of what we say this is going to be. Now, there are some alternates that we're looking at to maybe purchase, patios, things like that, that are not on the plans today, but can be an alternate to the project. So it depends on how that comes out in the bidding process.
So does that include contingencies too?
This does include contingencies, yes.
Because our original number was 8.7?
8.7, and then we were kind of looking at 8.5 when we were at schematic. And through design, that was part of the whole design development process. Through design, there was a lot of things that we didn't put in or we took out. So we looked at everything as a budget number and we designed to that. So if it's something was more important, we kept that in the design and maybe took it away from somewhere else. Next steps in the process, like I said, we're going right through the city. We should look at getting approval on the site development end of this month or early November. Like I said, they're on their second round of reviews. Library board update, our next one will be in November. At that point, we're gonna explain kind of what happens from there, the bidding process, how that all is gonna work out and timing of that. So we'll be back in November to give you another update. Once again, we're working on tree removal of the property. That'll, somewhere between November and March, that'll happen as far as a variation of cutting some of those trees down. We're gonna hold a contractor community event. We're planning that in December. What that is trying to get anybody in the local area as far as contractors, to get everybody involved, get everybody excited about the project. That could be any contractors in the area, Kansas City, anywhere. But we're trying to get all local also, to give everybody an opportunity to get involved and know what the project is before it goes out to bid. Once again, Clark and Henderson right now is working on construction documents. These are gonna be the documents that will be turned into the city for the permitting process. So that they'll be working on that through December, and we'll finish those up in December. Project will bid out in January, so that's when we'll actually put it out on the street. So like I said, the community event will at least give everybody a heads up that this is coming as a project. So it helps people get excited and they know it's coming, so we can get enough bids at that time to have good quality bids at that time. And then at the February, as it would work out on the February board meeting, that's when we would award a contract to a GC. So we would have all our bidding process, and then we would make sure we interview them all, and then as a group decide who would go forward as a GC. And then construction is scheduled right now to start out in March of 2026 and finish in 27, spring, summer timeframe.
Will any of our personnel be involved in the community event or
Yes, we're gonna
when you
hold-
open the bids and stuff like that?
Yes, that'll be, they're all part of it. Robin and Lee will be part of that.
Okay.
As far as the opening bid, we'll read them out loud. Basically, the contractors, everybody will know what the cost
Sure.
is, but they'll be involved in every
Okay.
step of the process.
Thank you.
Basic questions, anything on this point? Do I need to go back to development site sign, anything like that?
Will you all be doing the final awarding of the bids, or how does that work?
That's part of a group effort also. So basically, all of us would, architects, Robin Lee, everybody would be in a room as we do interviews and things like that. Anybody has questions on those processes. And as a group, that's where you decide who a contractor is. It wouldn't be one direct person deciding who that contractor is.
Okay,
You want to make sure you go through and feel comfortable with that contractor to make sure they have the scope of the work covered. There's a criteria of what we all go through to question each contractor.
but we as the board don't have any input to that?
That's something we generally work directly with Robin and Lee on.
Okay, just curious.
Any other questions or statements? Anything? Well, I appreciate it. If no other questions at this point, we'll be back in November. Once again, we'll update you on the next steps of process. You'll hear a lot more about the bidding process at that point also. So we'll have a presentation on that aspect. It'll inform you kind of how those next steps will go, and that'll all be through December, January, and February timeframes.
We could observe that as long as we don't have 3 board members there, but a subcommittee could observe the
Okay, I
bids and stuff like
I
that.
just always thought that when it was public money, that it had to be bid opening at a public meeting.
It is
It
at a
is.
public meeting, yes. There will
And-
be a scheduled meeting, the bids will be due at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We literally will open them up at that point and go through that process with all the contractors, whoever's submitting the bids at that point. So that is definitely a public meeting.
Okay.
And we'll see the bid tally sheets. as a
We'll have all
board
the bid
usually.
tabs for
It
that.
should be the way it happened with Pleasant Hill. You were here
Right,
for
right.
that.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, we'll see all
So that
the
would happen in February.
details.
Okay.
Yeah,
Any other questions? Once again, I appreciate your time and letting us present that to you and
Thank you.
go from there.
Thank you.
Okay, then, next item on our agenda, welcome, Diane.
Sorry,
is-
I had another meeting that went till 3:30 and
I
I busted my
understand.
behind to get here,
That's
so.
okay, that's okay. We did add one item to the agenda under new, MOSIP investment review or something, so there is one item. All right, budget is the next, the second reading. Lori gave us some new documents. And I have had a request that we have a work session. I talked with Robin. If it's something that we can do a work session on during the daytime and not have to, you know, and, but I've asked her to give me 3 or 4 dates, and I will get back with you, or,
Well, we've already kind of looked here,
Okay.
Maybe the first week of November, like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, one of those. Do we have?
Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday the 4th is open here all day, 9 to 3 at Pleasant Hill. Wednesday the 5th is open 12 to 5 here, 2 to 4 at Pleasant Hill. Harrisonville and Archie are both booked up on those days. Monday is booked up pretty much everywhere.
Tuesday is
Tuesday and
election
Wednesday.
day.
Correct.
Just throwing that out there.
Okay. Yes, we're not pulling locations, so our spaces are open if you're open to it.
okay, what about Wednesday, the 5th? Would that work for everyone?
For me, right now.
Dennis, that's okay with you? Okay, Wednesday, the 5th?
Starting at noon and seeing how long.
You
we
want to
go.
do 1 o'clock or noon? You want to do noon, but
Doesn't matter.
I want everybody to have their lunch if they want it, so. Okay, noon, November 5th,
Which location?
here. In this,
If here or Pleasant Hill are both options, if here is better, then
oh, Pleasant Hill? It's daytime, so it's not so bad.
I guess it doesn't matter.
it's totally up to you all. We'll be wherever.
Shall we do Pleasant Hill and see a newer library? And we can look at Pleasant Hill and also see what they're doing at Harrisonville, because there's a lot of same architects, same kind of, it'd be good to look at that, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so November 5th, noon, Pleasant Hill. Thank you very much, that was easy. But let's go ahead and review this budget that we have. We have new documents. Have these changed from what you sent us?
Yes.
Okay,
So we have adjusted in the personnel section. We've got the salaries line more up to date based on the changes that we've had with retirements and position changes. And Sherry had asked for that, the other page with the numbers on it, just the breakdown then of what that's comprised of. What's the base salary? What's the market adjustment amount? And what would be the performance evaluation amount? So right now, the only thing that's a variable in that line is the performance evaluation amount, just because we're still in the midst of that process. So all the scores haven't been finalized yet.
Okay.
But that has been updated, and then the health insurance premium information has been solidified, so we actually have that data, and it did not go. We did not have to. Yeah, it was quite the relief. So we adjusted that to reflect what it would actually be for next year.
450.
And then basically with those adjustments, we increased the carryover reserve there at the bottom, basically to keep more funds liquid and accessible for the year. The other change, the only other difference is with regards to, I was able to meet with a Hoopla representative and get projections for next year, and based on the usage patterns that we've had year over year, I changed that amount to 80,000, and that's included in the collections. That may have been in that first draft, the draft that you had in your packet. But yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Which is most recent, the white or the green?
The green, the one I
Green.
passed
Yeah.
out. The white one was in your packet and the
And
green one,
most current.
Yeah.
we found out all that after we mailed packets, so.
We definitely need a work session to go through all of this line by line.
Explain to me, you explained it, I think, online. I was asking about putting more into debt service. And you said, well, first of all, we're going to be putting 466,281, which is required by our bonding.
Right,
Correct?
that's the payment that we
That's
have.
the payment.
Okay.
And we're wanting to put more away that so when the time comes that we could pay off early.
Yeah.
And you said if we put it into a specific bond payment fund, it stayed there. If we did it every month or something like that. But if we wait till the end of the year, it's just kind of in a fluid account, but it's not liable by law, it's not regulated by law. Am I right there?
So after our last meeting and the feedback that I got that you guys would like to see more on that reserves for debt repayment, I went and consulted with Connor at
Good.
Stifel, and I sent him the draft budget, the first draft budget. And he said that what we had allotted, what we had planned looked very good. And he said, you don't want to, I mean, yes, we want to invest that amount because that's what we're saying we're designating for prepayment. And so we want to earn interest on that and use the interest also to compound and be able to use towards prepayment. But he said we also need to make sure that we are keeping enough fluid to cover our operations. So we don't want to take away from what we need to do, and be able to navigate any potential emergencies that might come up, because that money would be locked up, and not accessible. So he said that in conjunction with, we typically have money left over from the budget every year, and we will again this year. That's money that we can look at earmarking for that debt prepayment as well. And of course, the interest that accrues on the bond money, which is sitting in the trustee account, will go towards the prepayment. So we're in
Okay.
very good shape. But I went ahead and added money to that line because you had asked for it.
Thank you. But we can put that in MOSIP funds or something. But it's still there if we had a fire or something like that and we would need it.
Right, and you know how can you talk a little bit about how that MOSIP works? Like, we could get it, but what?
There's a penalty, I think, 3 months interest,
Right.
like normally if you would take out of a CD, so. And right now, we talked about that before, like, that is all sitting in our general operating account, like our capital funds. I mean, right now that's at, 3.85%. So, MOSIP's 3.95
Okay,
with a CD, so,
okay.
I mean, we're earning interest on that.
I think that's what we were asking. for.
Right, because I'm looking here and we have, the reserve carryover fund, the general reserve fund. So that all just sits in the general operating account, right?
Yeah.
And so if we had reserve funds for debt service, it could just like at the end of the year, we go, okay, now we could designate, before we ever moved it over to MOSIP or something. At the end, go, oh, look, we have $150,000 or whatever, we can move over. So
Yeah,
it wouldn't be sitting in there during the year so much, we could accumulate.
Right, that's what I would prefer, like at the end of the year, then just put that, like at the end of every year, whatever we designated for that, like keep adding it to a MOSIP CD, then maybe even the interest on there, we could add it, we could put it back in and keep adding
Right.
it to the, whatever we wanna call that, early payment, reserve fund.
But we could increase our target, you know, for what the reserve was, and that would be locked up until we actually physically moved it over to something else.
Okay,
So it's not really locked up, not until we actually invest it in something different.
okay. Yep.
Yeah, we're just earmarking it, you know, by how we're terming it, but it's not, as far as the bond financing part, the 466,000 for the debt service, those are just the two payments that we owe.
Required to do.
Yes.
Yes,
That other part is just what we're earmarking,
the rainy day fund. Or
whatever
something
we
like that.
decide. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so if you, more questions, or email Robin and Lee your questions, email them to Robin and she'll get the right people to answer them for us before November 5th, and that will help the meeting go smoother and faster, or whatever, okay? All right. Anything else on budget? Am I moving us too fast? Okay. Then let's move to MOSIP investment renewal. You have a handout from Lori White. Lori, you want to update us on this, please?
Yeah, I sure will. My apologies, I was the one that didn't get that on the agenda. That expiration date came sneaking up on me there. So, this is, what we're looking at is every month what you have on the revenue page, right there, is listed our CDs. So we renewed them the last few years in October. We've renewed them for 1 year. We've done the 365-day. And so the first page is the reason they have 3 CDs for 200,000 for our 600,000 reserve is to keep it under the 250 FDIC insured amount, because they can insure all of them separately. That way they don't have to go out and get separate insurance. And then the 150,000 is the endowment funds. So that's why there's 4 different CDs listed on there. And that I also have every month in your report. So that's the same thing that you have listed right there. So that's what we're talking about, that they expire October 28th. So, I mean, every week I get rates. They've stayed fairly steady all year. The last few weeks, they started going down a little bit. I asked the guy I work with if he would send me rates today so we could have the most recent. So here they are. And, he said he expects perhaps another 2 drops in rates by the end of the year. So, and I checked banks and they weren't any higher than this. So my recommendation would be to invest in the 365-day, reinvest our 4 CDs. So,
It's nice to see a Missouri company on there, North American,
yeah.
you know, investing a little bit in the area. The third one down is Mashpee. So, other
Yeah,
questions?
does anybody have any questions on that?
Just how long has it been since we've added more to the reserve funds?
History here. I think we started out 500 in 2022, and I think in 2023 we added 100. So then that put us up to 600,000 for reserves. We renewed that in 2024, and then we're still at that right now. So
What'd you say we were earning on our general operating account?
I just looked at that. It was 3.85, I believe, today.
That's better than these.
No.
Well, it's 3.95 for a
Oh, I see.
300.
I was saying 348.
Oh,
I'm looking on the wrong side now.
oh, yeah, I see. Yeah.
And that went down slightly too. It had been 4.11 in our bank account, in our general operating bank account at Community Bank. It had been 4.11% all year. And I just looked today and it was down to 3.85. So I was very disappointed. But I guess everything's dropping a little bit. So you guys probably know that from your own finances. So anyway, that's what we have. Do you have any questions? Otherwise, the past 2 years, we've just made a motion to reinvest those 4 CDs. So I think Becky has the wording, but I can repeat it if you want me to.
Okay.
So there's really no point to add more to it. We're making more in our general operating
Not-
account.
Yeah, not right now, no.
Yeah.
So Sherry's gonna
Oh.
make the motion for us.
Okay. I move that we reinvest our reserve funds of 600,000, the endowment funds of 150,000, and MOSIP's 365 day CD at the best rate available.
Second.
Any other, okay, Diane seconded. Any other questions? Lori, we'll do a roll call, please.
Becky Klein,
Yes?
Sherry Peters.
Yes.
Dennis Minnick,
Aye. Yes.
Diana Larson,
Yes?
Diane Hahn.
All right. That's it for new business. We'll go to the directors for your changes and branch activities and your reports.
All right. Didn't actually have any new hires in September. We had a couple people, move positions. We had 2 retirements and 2 people cease employment. We do have 3 to 4 various, part-time openings that we've done interviews for yesterday and
Well, you did two, or two yesterday. yeah.
right. We have upcoming future part-time interviews. Obviously, some candidates are overlapping in those positions. So we're trying to get through all of those to give people 3 or 4 new part-time folks. And we have interviews scheduled for a youth services specialist at Garden City. So those are, you'll find out about those next month, I suppose. Our retirements were Ellen Connor at Drexel, retired, and Darla Slocum, who was in our collection management department. Both retired in the past month after 10 to 11 years of service. We had the Missouri Library Association conference was last Wednesday and Thursday. They sort of winnowed it down to a two-day thing so that more libraries could afford to go and not have to spend so much money on hotel expenses and travel expenses. And so 2 much more compact days, and we had 5 staff members that were able to come, myself included. We did our 3rd branch tour where Robin and I drove around new employees or whoever wanted to go. So our newest branch manager, Karen, came with us along with a couple other employees that were game, and we visited all the branches. We are almost completed with our performance evaluation process for this year. Almost, Pat says.
It's not
We
quite.
sat in a room all day today trying to finish them, but we're in the middle of it, and then we'll be done in the next couple weeks, having managers administer those evaluations, and then have performance scores to figure into next year's budget. And the big thing, which you'll see and hear, probably already have photos and stories from the Drexel renovation, is done and reopened, and by all accounts went really well, and nothing but positive feedback from customers. So, but we had a lot of part-time staff and otherwise people who were available volunteer to come help do all of that kind of in-house. Our facilities department being the most hardworking of that, but a lot of other people helped us just stack shelves and books and move things in and out. But I know some of you have visited, and hopefully it looks nice. But if you haven't, please check it out. That's all I've got.
Yeah, I have a few updates. You may seen on payables, you'll start seeing fuel man cards. So we've actually transitioned to that to pay for fleet gas. And basically this allows us to have the cards organize those fleet expenses by the actual vehicles that we're using, as opposed to having to have the manager handle doing that with their purchasing credit card. So we even get a tiny little discount on our gas from using that, and we get a monthly fleet report as well. So, which that has helped streamline our finances as far as managing that. And then I don't know if you've heard, Becky, you might have, but Baker and Taylor, yeah. So Baker and Taylor is one of the main companies that supplies like wholesale print materials for libraries, and they've been around for a really, really long time. They've actually announced that they're going to be closing down all of their operations over the next few months. There was a planned sale of the company to another company that fell through, and so they aren't able to sustain without that having happened. So they actually are one of the vendors that we had been using for our materials, a lot of our youth stuff we were getting through Baker and Taylor. But I can tell you, like last year, I want to say Scott was already noticing some like issues just with supply and how long things were taking to be fulfilled and stuff. So he had already started looking kind of at other vendors and going with Ingram for a lot. And Ingram is where we focus our adult print purchases. So I mean, we're ready to transition. That's not going to cause any hardship to us in that respect. But they also actually, the public library survey, that is this very big in-depth report that we have to submit annually to the state library. The platform that we use to do that is a Baker and Taylor platform. So normally we have until the end of November to do that. Now we have about 10 days to get it done. So that's what we're going to be doing next week is trying to get that turned in so that the library or the state library can get the data that they need before that platform goes away. So, and then just more facilities updates. Today, the front of the annex is painted, and tomorrow the back of the annex will be painted. And then we'll be getting our sign late next week is what we're expecting over there. So it won't be the yellow with the old Ted's thing imprinted in there anymore. And then they are getting a new awning too over the door, and that'll be later in November when that actually gets installed. And then just today we found out the city of Belton let us know that this roof here that they haven't finished over the tower is a code violation. So they're notifying the landlord of that too, but they, as a courtesy, let us know as well. So maybe we'll actually get some roofing on that here pretty soon. And then just Ian had said that they are focusing right now on a lot of preventative maintenance for winter all across the library system. So that's going to be plumbing, it's going to be HVAC, it's going to be just like interior and exterior inspections. So that is what's going on around the system.
Well, Sherry and I took a drive 2 or 3 weeks ago and saw Drexel and was very encouraged by what we saw. And we saw preschool story time, and the mothers were all excited about coming in and everything. And the kids every kid had their own pillow. That's what I thought was neat to sit on or cuddle with or whatever while the lady was telling the story. And then we went to the annex and surprised them, did a surprise visit, and Zach and Ian took us on a tour. And we'd never seen the upstairs. You know, we saw it a year ago and it was not great. It's much more professional looking now.
Greatly improved up there.
Greatly improved, yes. So anyway, other trustees' comments?
Yeah, the kids at Drexel were funny. They were sort of scared because we were there when they walked in,
Yeah.
and they acted like it was a totally different building. They kept saying, "No, it's okay. It's the same building. Come on in."
Yeah.
Well, I giggled at the comment in here that the people swore it was bigger than it was
Yeah.
before. I thought that was.
That means that you did a good job because it looks more spacious.
Did you see Lee's picture in there?
I did help with the set. There's a photoshopped picture.
And we want to
Yeah.
know, have you gotten those letters solid in front of the
Well, no
building?
one's messed with them, so I think it's
Just
just
Sherry
you
and I think
two,
about
the way you
this.
think.
I thought the same thing.
But
It's
now
been
that I've
6 months
seen it,
now,
I keep
and
seeing
no one
it.
has.
No one
we were-
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
We were gonna do it, but
We figured there was a
I was
camera
gonna
out
say, we
there.
have cameras now.
We'll know.
Okay, I can give a foundation update. The sale starts next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There's people over there at 1827 working right now. We pretty much got everything sorted that's been brought in, and we'll also be open for drop-offs on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week. But come pick out of 2,000 DVDs and hardbacks, bestsellers. We've got a whole collection, and the foundation's members have been working hard at it. We had a good selection yesterday, so that's our main and only fundraiser right now for the foundation. So it's next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Saturday morning everything's half price, or the last hour, whatever you can put in a grocery bag for about $4 or $5. So if you can get 30 DVDs in there for $5, it's yours. That's when you need to come. Okay, other comments, anything? All right, then I would entertain a motion to executive session.
I entertain a motion to executive session,
For legal.
legal.
All
for
right,
legal.
second? I'll second it. Let's do a roll call. Lori?
Becky Klein,
Yes?
Sherry Peters. Yes. Dennis Minnick.
Yes.
Diana Larson.
Yes.
Diane Hahn.
Yes.